Let's welcome our first speaker from Falte, Ireland, the director of Falte, Ireland. He wants to welcome you all to Ireland, John Concannon. Thank you, John.
So, good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for coming here to Dublin and coming to TBEX. I'll just get the this yoke here now working. Let's see. Now, last one. Well, when it works, when it comes on, it'll come on in a second, the slides. But you're all very welcome to TBEX. We're delighted in Falte, Ireland, to have you here. We say in Ireland, Céad Míle Fáilte, that's 100,000 welcomes in Irish. And we mean it. It means a huge amount to us for you all to be here. Tourism is a big part of our economy, a big part of our recovery. It's great to have people from around the world. You're in great company. A lot of exciting things happening in the tourism and hospitality space. Recently, Airbnb have just announced their EMEA headquarters, and Chip is going to talk here shortly. We've got TripAdvisor on Monday, have just announced a major operation, along with other organizations like Hostel World and so on. So it's really beginning to be a hub of tourism, travel, and web, and that accompanies the likes of Facebook, YouTube, Facebook, Google, Twitter, who are all LinkedIn, who are all based here. But in terms of what we're trying to do is really showcase Ireland and talk about Ireland. And we've produced a lot of different things. This is a little map we've produced and a guidebook. It's online from the TBEX website. Bloggers here in Dublin called Lacool have produced it, and it's just for you guys. A special guide for the TBEX for Dublin. You can download that from the website. And when you're thinking about Ireland, and I was preparing for today, I was thinking, okay, what do most of the people in the room think about when they think about Ireland? I'd say, okay, castles. Okay, we definitely have castles. We're good with castles. And cliffs. We're good with cliffs. And there's lots of them, and they're really good. But you know, the truth is, what we're seeing is people want to get away from just looking at things and really being part of it. And I checked out, as I was researching, I found this blogger from New York, and there he is on the Cliffs of Moher on his bicycle. And really not recommending this at all. But this is a guy from New York, and he's an amateur blogger, and he put that up. But the whole sense of getting out there, getting into the action, it's not about the weather. I mean, Red Bull came here last year in February. It was terrible weather, and they had a big competition. And this actually really happened, and it went out viral around the world, about 400,000 views in a couple of days. So it's not necessarily for the weather, and that's why the World Adventure Forum. The World Adventure Forum is in a couple of weeks is going to be in Namibia, in Africa, and it was in Mexico the year before, and we've just announced it's going to be in Ireland, which is great news for us because you know it's going to showcase a lot of the adventure tourism product we have here. You can see some of it here happening just behind me because we say, you know, people know Ireland, as I say, from the castles and so forth, but there's so much more to the country in terms of activities, adventure, walking, cycling, and it's something I suppose if you have the time over your trip here is to come and enjoy this side of Ireland. Because particularly on the western seaboard, there's so much to see and do, a lot of participative events. This year we'll have about 400 participative events where people come, participate, running marathons, half marathons, and all that kind of thing. So let me just talk a little bit about Ireland, and for those of you that don't know it that well, first of all, we're in Dublin, and Dublin is the capital city of Ireland. And Dublin is very well known for lots of things. It's the UNESCO City of Literature. It's the home of James Joyce and a lot of the other world-renowned writers. The whole theatre scene is a cultural scene. It's a very vibrant scene here. And you know, when people talk about Dublin, they think, okay, Guinness Storehouse, which we all had a great time in last night, but there's a lot more to Dublin than just the Guinness Storehouse and that side of it. And I think we've been working with some businesses around for the last few months here in Dublin, small businesses that are in particularly activity providers, in creative businesses. And I just found this video that one of our partners did here in Dublin. It's a likeware.
It's really unexpected in a lot of ways.
And they just talk about Dublin. We'll have a listen to it.
You know, upswell of people who want to do creative, interesting things that benefit their community or that really are kind of speaking to their own passion. There's a new kind of quarter, they're calling it the Creative Quarter, and it's where I make sure all of my visitors spend the bulk of their time when they're visiting Dublin. It's just off Grafton Street, which is where people would typically end up if they come for a visit to Dublin. It's full of cool cafes, cool shops and boutiques. It's a really vibrant area at night as well. There are lots of places to sit outside and have your dinner if the weather's warm or dry. Dame Street area is a wonderful area, has a ton to do, has a lot of cool stuff that happens at the weekends, markets or that sort of thing.
And that little video was produced by Likeware, who are here in the room. Here, if they're here, can you start? Yeah, just here, the CEO of Likeware, and it's a small, it's not small. It's an Irish online company, and they produce these guides, and we think it's great. So we just found that and put it up there. But as you go around the country, down in the southeast of the country is very much known for heritage, history, and all down Wexford, Waterford, Kilkenny. We call that the Viking Triangle, and all around there. And then you come on into Cork. Cork City is the second city. It used to be the seat of the British military for many hundreds of years. A lot of the maritime city, the British Navy were based there throughout most of the 1800s. And then as you come into West Cork, it's getting really into more traditional Ireland. A lot of artisanal food producers, the people who made the black pudding from last night are there. And then you come up through into Kerry. Kerry is a real hotbed of tourism, the Ring of Kerry, people to be familiar with. And then into Dingle, which is a really special place, the Dingle Peninsula. It's one of those places that speak Irish as its first language. And then as you come up the coast, you can see here's the Cliffs of Moher on the west, and that whole sense of the Burren. Steven Spielberg just came here last year, spent a lot of money to get inspired in the Burren for a week. And Galway, which is where I live, which is the best part of Ireland, and it's all about festivals and fun, and the Galway Arts Festival and the Oyster Festival, and it's a link into Connemara and the Aran Islands. A lot of activity happening there now, a lot of things you can see, a lot of things you can do. And then further on up into the northwest is similar to the west coast, and there's a home of W.B. Yeats and poetry, Slieve Cliffs. So that's a kind of a whistle-stop tour of the country. I think from that you can see that there's a lot of variety here. Yeah, Dublin is a brilliant, brilliant capital city. Cork, a lot happening, but as you get around the country, there's an awful lot to see and do. And one of the things we've been working on for the last couple of years is a project called the Wild Atlantic Way. The Wild Atlantic Way is a coastal route that goes from the top of the country in Mallinhead down to the bottom of the country. It's the world's longest coastal driving route, 2,500 kilometres. We're currently signposting it all, we're putting it together, and we announced it this year to a lot of the travel industry, and it's going to be live for next year. I'll just play a couple of seconds of a little promotional clip we put together for the Wild Atlantic Way.
Wild. Rugged. Unspoiled. Untamed. Where land and sea collide. This is Ireland's last frontier against a marauding Atlantic. This is where you can journey along our nation's soul. This is the Wild Atlantic Way. So come with us on the way to a road trip of a lifetime, stretching 2,400 kilometers along Ireland's western seaboard. The Wild Atlantic Way is the longest defined coastal drive in the world. It is a journey shaped and inspired by the invading sea, by the defiant land that battles it, and by the native Irish that enrich this unique region. Along a route that travels from Donegal in the north to Cork in the south.
And it goes on, and that video is all available on our website. And Rick has me under very strict time pressure, so I'm afraid I can't show the whole thing. But here's the science bit, as L'Oreal say. We've done it, we've mapped it all, we've signposted, we've 270 viewing points that you stop off and so on. And we would love you're all invited to come next year. We will give you either motorbikes or cars or convertibles, not advisable, or camper vans, and you can drive it and see it and blog about it. But really it's more than a driving route, it's all about people. And in the people you've got the people along the Wild Atlantic Way to just talk about who they are.
Atlantic Way in one word, how could one?
To describe the Wild Atlantic Way, there's only one word, and that's breathtaking.
I would say compelling.
Fantastic.
Rugged.
I would call it refreshing.
Adventure.
Freedom, I think, yeah.
Invigorating.
describe the Atlantic Way as a seascape.
The people, I think.
Captivating.
Fear.
Beautiful, stunning, breathtaking, pick one.
Awesome.
But I guess wild.
We're all a little wild on the Wild Atlantic Way, and I suppose just some regions are a little wilder.
Well, there's a saying in the Irish and Gaelic language which says Ní neart go curla chéile, and it means that the power or strength really is in people working together. And I think that...
And that whole sense of working together, I just want to talk about one thing, is the Gathering is a project we have this year. We looked at with the 6 million people living on the island of Ireland, the 70 million people around, that around the world that claim to have Irish heritage. The Gathering project has really been an open source idea where we've asked communities around the country to come up with ideas to celebrate Irishness, and it's been a superb success. And we're very happy to talk to you all about that. We've a lot of people coming into the country, a lot of good ideas. We thought we'd have about 500 new ideas coming up this year. We've actually had 5,000 stuff happening around the country, and there's loads and loads of examples of that. We're going to finish on New Year's Eve with a spectacular New Year's Eve party, and you saw when you left the Guinness Storehouse last night that the people were inviting you to New Year's Eve, pretending it was New Year's Eve you left. So you're all invited. We'd love to have you there in New Year's Eve, and there's a lot of other events happening. And one in particular I want to highlight is the Dublin Web Summit, which is happening in October, in the end of October. It's Europe's biggest technology event. About 9,000 people from around the world, from VCs, for investors, startup companies, 400 media are coming. We would love to see as many of you as possible here, and it's a really super event. And it grew from about 3 years ago, from about 400 people. It's 3 guys from Dublin that have put it together. It's really a great success, and it links in with another event called Founders. And Paddy Cosgrove, Paddy's here at the side of the stage, is here to meet anybody and talk about it over the course of the next hour or so. But the Web Summit is something that we believe is a great showcase for Dublin, and I would very much invite you to be part of that. So that gives you a quick sense of Ireland and where we're going. And just to finish off by saying, really, we would love, if you enjoy your time here, we would ask you all to be ambassadors for Ireland, to talk about it, to share it. The video that Rick played at the start is now on YouTube. The TBEX guys are sharing it. It's on #TBEX. If you share that and get it out there. But we really ask you to, if you have a good time, share the love. We're absolutely delighted to have you. Have a great time. Thank you very much.